Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. With me today, I have my good friend,
Charlie, hello.
and today we are actually doing a trailer reaction to LeBron James's Space Jam: A New Legacy. This is the sequel to the very first Space Jam movie starring Michael Jordan, and of course the rest of the Looney Tunes squad. I have not seen the trailer at all. As a matter of fact, I'm actually one of those people that are not optimistic about the film at all that much. I'm actually having low expectations. So let's see if this thing is actually going to expand my expectations or not. So press that play button.
Let's do it.
Basketball camp is next weekend. You got amazing potential on the court, and I can help you get there.
It's not what I want. You never let me do what I want to do. You never let me just do me.
Hold up, wrong floor. Bet Will Smith ain't got to deal with this.
Okay, making it a little bit more modern.
What in the Matrix? Hell.
Welcome, King James. I am the king of this domain. This is Cerberus.
What you do to my son? Where's Dom?
The only way you getting your son back is if you and I play a little basketball. P, send this clown to the rejects.
Wait. What is this? Ah! I'm a cartoon?
What's up, Doc?
Come on and
Okay.
on an elite team to help get my son back.
I know what you're looking for. A dream team. Come, shoot the ball. Let's try that again, shall we?
King James. Welcome to the Space Jam. Introducing the Goons squad.
You gotta win this game.
Let's end this.
Yes, LeBron! And get our son back. Yikes. Classic. Welcome to the space.
Okay.
I'm going old school on his butt.
Welcome to the Space Jam.
Okay, so I'll actually have to admit to this. I did laugh at a few spots here and there. But I also like the fact that they did try to make a 2021 era for the kids and stuff like that too, which is something that I can appreciate if I had kids and stuff like that too. And also they changed up the plot, which is something that I'm actually was wondering about if they were going to go on ahead and have maybe the old space boss coming back in and try and take revenge again, and them having to retake the powers over from all the other teammates and stuff like that. Then again, back in the 90s, we had a lot of 90s nostalgia factor where we actually had the go-tos, the big name basketball players and stuff like that and everything too. But this is just primarily focused on LeBron James. His son gets taken, and now it's up to him to try and get his son back. But at the same time, it's also to set up maybe a life lesson or something like that as well, where maybe not to put his son on a pedestal where he's at basically his son's shadow, if you think about it. But not his son's shadow, but basically his son being over basically LeBron's over his own shadow or whatever. But that's what I get from that part. And then also too, there's also glitches when it comes down to like online gaming and stuff like that. And therefore, I think Don Cheadle's going to go on ahead and try to manipulate the game that way. Then the Tunes have to break into the server rooms and stuff like that. So there's that aspect to it. For me, I'm at a 2.5 expectation level, but what do you think about the trailer? I know that you didn't really like it, and also too, I know that they went on ahead and did the cartoon versions like we got back when we were kids, and then they put it into a 3D aspect as well to make it more modern. What about you?
I think it's this. I think it's we're years later than this one. I think it's just a cash cow. Everybody wants in on the LeBron James. LeBron James, like, oh, Michael Jordan did this in 1996. I need to one up him. And I think this is years, like 20 years too late. And they try to make it modern. Yeah, I can see them making it modern, but adding Game of Thrones and all these other pop culture references, like Warner Brothers, is like, what are you trying to do? Do you deep down know that this movie's gonna suck? And that's why you need to get these other elements in there, like the Hanna-Barbera characters, Game of Thrones, Iron Giant, like the nostalgia. And it worked in Ready Player One because it fit that. But for the sake, it seems like they're just putting that in there just for the sake of making it modern. I don't get it. And it's like LeBron James, I don't like him. I'm not a huge fan of his. I think he's just an egotistical guy. I think like just putting him in there is just for the sake of putting him in there because, oh, Michael Jordan did it. I need to put LeBron in there. I'm like, yeah, and I thought the animation looked kind of wonky. Sure, it looked better than Tom and Jerry, but that's not saying much because Tom and Jerry's vein like that. I mean, it's just the Looney Tunes were cool, but like I said, as the cartoon, and I liked the Space Jam was okay back in 1996 because it changed it. This is not changing anything. It's the same story. It's the Goon Squad versus Toon Squad. I may be like the guy that's like the Debbie Downer of it, but it didn't interest me. And I think the jokes were just kind of forced. And LeBron James, I don't like him. And this is not doing it for me. But this, for the sake of putting in the other properties like Iron Giant, Game of Thrones, put it in there. And it doesn't really make sense to, and and have that sequence where all of them come together and they're all watching the game. And it's like, I don't know what are they doing. Like I said, I mentioned before, does Warner Brothers know that this movie's going to fail? And they said, crap, it's going to fail. But let's put other stuff in there just to get people to watch because we know people are going to watch. Am I going to pay money to see this in the theaters? Absolutely not. Would I watch it on HBO Max? I mean, I've seen Tom and Jerry. I've seen all the other Warner HBO Max movies, so sure, I'll probably watch it. But I'm going in with very low expectations, like deep down knowing that this movie's going to be terrible and watching it so I can make fun of it. I mean, that's not the thing is, but it's just, this is what I got from the trailer. Like I said, once I knew that they were working on this sequel for years, was I interested in it? No, because I know deep down that they wanted to do it just because they can make LeBron James the greatest player of all time when he's not. Because you can come back to me when LeBron goes undefeated in the championship games and he has six and he goes undefeated. Oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't. I mean, they're just doing it just to one up Michael Jordan. And I think that's not a good way to do it. I think that's what I thought. I mean, I'm not expecting much from this. It didn't look terrible. It looked cheesy. It looked corny. It looked very like the kids will like it, and that's fine. But I guess from the people that are from 1996 fans of the original movie, and seeing this trailer, I don't think they're going to be excited for this one, to be honest. Especially if they're big Michael Jordan fans, and to see them do a sequel just with LeBron James and have no continuity from the first one. If you're calling it a sequel, you need to have some. And the Looney Tunes can't really continue it with the Looney Tunes because they're not sure that's the same similar aspect to it, but you can't really call it a sequel and just we'll put Looney Tunes in it and call it a sequel.
Well, basically, what I'm getting from this whole entire perspective, though, too, what they're doing, they're trying to do something completely different to game change this one. Which I like the fact that it's not the same plot. I like the fact that they went on ahead and did something different, rather than do the same repetitive patterns. Also, too, back in the 90s, we had some big named basketball players that people used to follow. Right now, to me, there isn't really that one go-to basketball player like we used to have or anything like that where they can focus on other teams. Because on other teams, you had Patrick Ewing. You had other people like John Stockman and other players on the Charlotte, North Carolina, and everything too. You actually have people on that team that they can actually use. This one, they're not using their skills, the basketball player skills in this one to one up LeBron James. This is actually going to be geared towards, like you mentioned before, more of the modern age for 2021 culture, where they can actually mix in the different server rooms and stuff like that, and also have glitches to where they can manipulate the game and everything too. So there's that aspect. I wish that they would have maybe had a few cameos, maybe from Bill Murray, somewhere around that area. This, with the whole entire thing, they're using their Warner Brothers property as cameos to make the characters watch the game. Because don't forget, we actually had that in the very first Space Jam movie, where we actually had other characters from other things watching the game, but now they're doing it with their movie properties and stuff like that. From what I heard, they're actually going to get It in there as well from Stephen King's It. Bill Skarsgård might actually make an appearance from what I heard, but I'm not sure if that's true or not, but don't quote me on it. Right now, like I said, my expectations is probably at a 2.5, somewhere around that area, and that's not really saying much, because there are certain things that I liked, there's certain things that I didn't like. Don't forget, the very first Space Jam was not a masterpiece at all. It was cheesy as well.
Yeah.
But what made us care about it, though, is the fact that Michael Jordan was in it. He was coming out of retirement to go ahead and play again with the Bulls. And then he went on and played baseball. And then he went back out of retirement.
Yeah, it's based off something. It's based off what he did in his career. Like, he retired from the Bulls and that. And then, like I said, and then with the fact they put LeBron James in the sequel, it's just to heighten the fact that everybody's so all on LeBron James. He's the greatest player of all time. When they like, and they're kind of neglecting what Michael Jordan did, and they're all about LeBron James. So it's all LeBron. I'm sorry, LeBron can't act. He's just like Shaq, can't act. I mean, and it's just like, the fun LeBron James for the sake of LeBron James in it. I mean, and it's not. It's like, he was okay in Trainwreck because he was barely in it. This one, this whole movie, I'm not keen on watching a whole movie of LeBron James. That's just me. But but that's just me. I said, I just think they're just doing it for the sake of LeBron James, just because they know LeBron James is trying to compete with Michael Jordan to be the best of all time, when he really technically can't, because he never went undefeated in the championship games or the NBA finals. But it's like they're competing so they can say and make him better than Michael Jordan, and that's not the way you should be going if you're doing a sequel to something. I don't know. I think, and then if Bill Murray shows up, and it's just because and then they like, oh, Bill Murray was in the other one, so we got to have him in the sequel. So it's just it's a double-edged, like a lose-lose for them in this case, in my book. But so I'm not excited for this at all. I'm gonna watch it probably because I'm bored, not because I want to see it.
All right. Well, with that being said, guys, that's it for our Space Jam Legacy trailer review. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Another thing, too, guys, is like and subscribe to our channel. Smash that like button. Click that share button. Go on ahead and rate us on our audio-only podcast, though, too. It helps us with the rankings and everything for people to find us. Another thing, too, is go on ahead and head over to our Facebook page at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite over there underneath the same brand name on Instagram and also on Pinterest as well. We are also on Twitter at Movie Lovers Unit. You can also follow me at Movie Lovers Unit on Stereo as well. Another thing too is we're going to be doing our Warner Brothers stuff today as well, where we're going to be talking about the fact that they're not going to incorporate anything with fixing the Spider-Verse or anything like that, any type of continuity within that universe. So go on ahead, like and subscribe. Also, too, go on ahead, check us out on our audio-only podcast, and if you want to donate to the page, this is how you do it. You go on ahead, you head over to www.gofundme.com/Movie Lovers Podcast for all your entertainment needs and wants. And always, until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. Can't wait to do this again. And bye-bye.